All right. Step 1 says, find the domain. Well, x minus 2 equals 0. So then that's going to be x equals 2. So the domain of this function is all real numbers, but x cannot be positive 2, which then that means we've got a vertical asymptote at x equals 2. Agree with me on that. Okay. Then, my horizontal asymptote, degree of the top is 0, right? Degree of the bottom is 1, so that means y equals 0 is an asymptote, is a horizontal asymptote. Love it. Okay? F of 0 for the y-intercept is 3 over 0 minus 2, so that's going to be negative 3/2. So my y-intercept is at 0, comma, negative 3/2. Agree with that? Okay. My x-intercept set the numerator equal to 0. Can that happen? No. So there is no x-intercept. Okay. X equals 2 is there. I was going to show you a different way. For you, okay, so for you guys, when you get a y equals 0 or an x equals 0 asymptote, because it's sometimes hard to see and they've got to go on the graph, right? So some people do this little slash thing, which is totally fine, because then you can totally see it over the top of your like the darkened axes that are on your graph paper. Okay? So that's another way of doing it. Okay? Awesome. 0 comma negative 3/2, that's 0 comma negative 1.5, so that'd be right there. There she blows. Okay? So then that leaves me with, now I got to do a t-chart for over here. So let's go with positive 1. If I put positive 1 in there, I get 3 on the top, and I get negative 1 on the bottom. So that's negative 3. And then let's go with negative 10, because then I get 3 over negative 12, which is negative 1/4. Then let's go with over here. Let's go with 3. If I put 3 in there, I get 3 over 1. That's 3. 4. 3 over 2, which is 1.5. 5 would be 3 over 3, and 10 would be 3 over 8. That then there allows me to draw it in. And that then allows allows me to say as my end behavior, actually here, let me move this over here. As my end behavior, as x goes to negative infinity, my function approaches 0 from below. As x approaches positive infinity, my function approaches 0 from above. That's the left and the right sides. Yeah. And then my asymptotal behavior, as x approaches 2 from the left, my function is going to negative infinity. And as x approaches 2 from the right, my function is going to positive infinity. Questions on that? Good? Awesome sauce. Let's do another one. Oh, gee. We got degree of 1 on the top, degree of 2 on the bottom, so that's another y equals 0 type 1. Yes? Okay. I get a y-intercept of the origin. I get an x-intercept of origin. Agree so far? Okay. So we've got negative 3. And my function again was what? 2x over x squared minus 4, right? Okay, so if I put negative 3 in there, I got negative 6 over 5. Agree with me on that? Yep. Okay. Negative 4 is going to be negative 8 over 12, and negative 10 is going to be negative 20 over 96. So that's negative 1 1/5, negative 2/3, and negative close to 1/5. I put in negative 1 in the middle section, I get negative 2 over negative 3. That's 2/3. If I put in positive 1, I get positive 2 over negative 3. That's negative 2/3. If I put in 3, I get 6 over 5. If I put in 4, I get 8 over 12. And if I put in 10, I get 20 over 96. There. 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 Agree? Questions? Comments, concerns? Didn't get the same in the middle? All good? Love it. Let's do one more. So I get the domain for this one is all real numbers, but x cannot be negative 1 or positive 2.
So you can use a comma then. Okay.
Which tells me that I have a vertical asymptote at x equals negative 1, and I also have one at x equals 2. Degree of the top is 1, degree of the bottom is 2, so that gives me a horizontal asymptote of y equals 0. Agree? Get a y-intercept of the origin. Agree? I also get an x-intercept at the origin. Agree? Oh, so that's going to be negative 2, negative 3, and negative 10. So if I go negative 2, that's going to be negative 2 over 4 minus 2 minus, right? Wait, 4 minus negative 2 is 6, minus 2 is 4. That's going to be negative 1/2. Negative 3 is going to be 9 plus 3 is 12 minus 2 is 10. Negative 10 over 108. Agree? So that one, if I were to draw that one in right away, without waiting, that one's going to be in tight, in tight, in tight, in tight, in tight, and then make a sharp turn down. Yes? Love it? I'm going to go with negative 1/2 here. And the reason that I'm going to go with negative 1/2 there is because I want to know what that function, if it's going to be cross or if it's going to come down and kiss or what's going on. Okay? So if I go negative 1/2 there, then that gives me negative 1/2 over 1/4 plus 1/2 is 1/4 minus 2 is a negative number. Okay? So that negative divided by negative is going to be something positive. I don't really care what it is, but it's going to be positive. With me? With me on that? Okay? And then I can try 1. That's going to be 1 over 1 minus 2 is negative 2. So then this one is going to come in, cross over, sharp turn down. Yes? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be 3 over 9, 6, 4. 4 is going to be 4 over 16, 12, 10. And 10 is going to be 10 over 88. So here, here, and there. Agree? Questions? Love it. Okay, so remember, you've got 3 things that you have to do now before Wednesday. Okay? 1, you've got to make sure that your brown packet is done. That's going to be turned in on Wednesday. 2, you got to make sure that tomorrow you take your formative assessment in the MRC. Okay? And 3, you have to go through and you have to score your quiz and let me know what your score is going to be for Wednesday or on Wednesday. Okay? With me? Love it. You have the remainder of the time, which is a good 10 minutes or so, to be working on that stuff.